Hi, this is Shelley Kraft. We're coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the SeeThruEquity Winter MicroCap Investor Conference here in New York City 2015. I have with me Robert Brooke, Stevia First Corporation. It's a publicly traded company, and the symbol is STVF. Welcome to SNNLive.
Thank you for having me, Shelley.
It's good to have you. Let's get an overview first on the company.
Sure. Well, Stevia First is an ag biotech company located in Yuba City, California, in California's Central Valley, which is essentially the Silicon Valley for ag. And what we're focused on is answering the surging global demand for stevia, and in particular, the demand from multinational food and beverage companies that are racing to incorporate stevia within their products, but require far more demand. And so, for instance, there are companies like the beverage makers that consume 31% of the U.S. sugar supply, but they're facing a public health backlash against their products. How do they solve that? It's with stevia, a zero-calorie, high-potency, natural sweetener that's been approved by the FDA in 2008, and that has been called by many the holy grail of the sweetener industry.
I don't know about the Holy Grail, but it sounds like a healthy solution to me.
That's right. And consumers see it, and there's a public health backlash where the World Health Organization came out and said that you should cut your added sugars to about 5% of your daily calories. And why is that important? Because that's less than the amount found in a single 12-ounce sugar-loaded Coke or Pepsi. And so the consumers, they see it as this choice between diabetes and sugar on the one hand versus artificial sweeteners and cancer on the other. And that's where stevia fits in.
Wow, this is an uptick. This sounds to me like the diabetic community's got to be all over this. I think the fact that you're getting into the big beverage companies, can you say the names of them?
Yeah, we are working to supply the major stevia buyers today who are bringing this product already into mainstream products, such as Coke, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, and others, where they have products emerging like Vitamin Water Zero. That's a product that did over 100 million in sales in its first year, fueled by what stevia can do, the way that consumers love stevia, and how the product meets all the technical attributes that make it successful as a sweetener.
What are the ingredients of stevia?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, it's a zero-calorie, natural, high-potency sweetener. It's derived from the stevia plant that's native to Paraguay, where it's been used for hundreds, if not thousands, of years.
And what is the ingredient that makes it sweet? I know that sounds like a crazy question, but I'm just curious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just it's an amazing plant-derived product that is native to Stevia rhododendrona, an herb that grows to maybe a meter tall, and that can be extracted in a similar way to how tea is done.
So now here's my question. This is the key. How are you going to cope with the demand? What are you doing? How are you increasing manufacturing?
Yeah, so the challenge given to us is that how do you increase the global supply of this product by 3 to 5-fold? And if you do, these beverage companies and others will buy everything you can produce. And so for us, as an ag biotech approach, we took an ag biotech approach where, my background's in biotech and healthcare, we've built a strong R&D team, and we've generated an enzyme enhancement process where you can take a crude stevia leaf extract and you can enhance what's typically a byproduct in that process. And in doing so, you can get 2 to 3 times as much stevia, high purity Reb A, from the same amount of leaf.
Are you producing in the U.S.?
We are. We have landed a deal with probably the 3rd or 4th largest stevia supplier today, and so we've taken over that production capacity, and then we are conducting field trials in the U.S. with the intent to bring online the first dedicated U.S. extraction and purification facilities for stevia.
So what's your competition doing? They're not going to stand still. I'm not going to mention any competitive names because I don't know too much more about it. But if you have competition, how are they going to compete?
Sure. Well, Stevia has been grown in Asia for 40 years, and with a relatively antiquated and labor-intensive ag production system. So in California and in the U.S., we're using a very different model. We're using mechanized agriculture, and we're marrying it with our proprietary enzyme enhancement process. And you secure that with IP. You implement it at your own facilities, and that's your competitive advantage.
So if they've been using it around the world, including China, for 40 years, what took so long for it to come to the United States?
That's right. The Japanese were early adopters, and there are conspiracy theorists that believe that the artificial sweetener makers, the Monsantos and NutraSweets, held it off the market, to their own advantage back in the 80s and 90s. But now those companies aren't fighting it; they're on board. Everyone sees that stevia is destined to become the mainstream workhorse natural high potency sweetener, and to live up to its hype, and it's going to be that for decades to come. So it's all about securing the supply, and we've built an incredible foundation for that, and finding some way to get that big tick up, that 3 to 5-fold increase in global supply that the major buyers today are clamoring for.
So by 2016, where do you see the company?
Oh, we take it one step at a time, but we're a small 25 million market cap company today. We're in a market that's surging. We're in contact with the right people to where a single multi-year supply agreement or a joint venture could really change our profile.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to get two things. First, your background, and secondly, your website.
Sure. My background's in electrical and biomedical engineering, and I spent about 5 years in hedge fund finance with the firm as a biotech analyst who was the most active investor in publicly traded biotech and healthcare companies during that period. And the company can be found at SteviaFirst.com. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Brooke, Stevia First Corporation. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is STVF. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive. We're coming to you live from the SeeThruEquity Winter MicroCap Investor Conference in New York City, 2015. I wish you luck, Robert. Thank you, Shelley.
Sounds like a great story.
Thank you.
You're welcome.